Hey guys, Jason Haber here with FutureCity Podcast, and we are at the Global Citizen Festival. This festival has now happened every year since 2011, and every time I come to this festival, I'm amazed at all the people that come because these tickets you can't buy. You have to earn your place here. You have to take an action online, you have to make phone calls, you have to go in person, you have to do something to be a part of this global movement to be a global citizen. And so, since this festival started in 2011, there have been over 22 million actions taken that have impacted over 880 million people. In fact, over $39 billion of financial commitments have come directly because of the work behind me here at this festival and with the Global Citizen Organization. And I write about it in my book, The Business of Good. So if you're interested in learning about social entrepreneurship and how entrepreneurs are making a difference in the world, check out The Business of Good online and let me know what you think of it. You can pick it up at Amazon or a bookstore near you. Now, about the festival here. In 2015, over 190 nations signed on to something called the Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations set an ambitious agenda. By 2030, they outlined 17 goals to eliminate extreme poverty, hunger, the water crisis, human rights, gender equality, and on and on and on. This concert and this event helps to fulfill that goal. And they're setting a new ambitious target over the next year where Global Citizen is going to try to get commitments of $350 billion from private donations and from governments and from private citizens to help fulfill the Global Citizen's objective of reaching the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. We have 11 years to go, not much time left. There's a lot of work to do, but I also want to stress that there's a lot of good that's happening out there right now. You know, about 10 years ago, when we looked at the population of the world that lacked access to clean water, there were about 1.2 billion people that lacked that access. Fast forward today, we're under 700 million people lacking access to clean water. So we're making progress. The challenge now becomes, as that number goes down, it gets harder and harder to reach those people because they're in more rural areas, you have wars and famines, and you have all these challenges in getting water to them. But we're making progress and we're getting there, and that's the good news. But now comes that next leg, and to get the job done, it's going to take the commitments of not just everyone here behind me, but of the people watching this, the people listening to this online, the people all over the world who are committed to being global citizens. So, where are you guys from?
We're from Mexico, and we're just coming to see, this great festival. And of course, Queen is going to be the best group in this presentation.
So what is it about the concert? Obviously, being Queen fans and they're playing is amazing, but talk to me about the sort of the social message of the concert. You have your kids here, and what that means to you.
Actually, the whole movement, it's a great story, okay, besides the music. Everything that you're doing to get, all the awareness of all the people, to improve all the conditions, especially in the world. We are pro, to fight for the kids, and, the global citizen movement overall, it gives a great opportunity to improve that around the world. So we are very pro for that.
So are there any issues that maybe your kids are even most concerned about?
Yes, everything related to the child. All over the world, they're very concerned.
So what did you do to get the tickets today? Did you perform acts online or did you buy the tickets?
I did everything. I went to the run, I did the 4 miles. I did everything to get the tickets because this is a unique opportunity for all of us.
Right. All right, guys, thanks so much. So when I wrote The Business of Good, which I happen to have a copy of here, imagine that. So when I wrote The Business of Good, I wanted to look at the interplay between what the private sector is doing to make a difference and the greater cascade of challenges that the world is facing right now. I called it the Great Convergence, and I look back to 1999. On December 31st, 1999, the world seemed to be in a pretty good place. The stock market had just hit an all-time high. In that year alone, we saw not one, but multiple peace treaties around the world, and the world seemed like it was set for a peaceful and prosperous transition into the 2000s. There was one concern on the night of December 31st, 1999. The concern was our technology. Some of you may remember the Y2K bug, and the concern was that when the turnover came, computers would think it was the year 1900, and nuclear weapons would go off, social security checks would be written from people who were dead for many years, chaos would ensue. It turned out we had it all backwards. It was our technology that would lead us forward, while the world would cascade into a hot mess, from wars in the Middle East to a financial meltdown here in our country, we saw problem after problem after problem. And then at the same time, we saw the world get re-stitched back together in a new way. And we saw the emergence of social media and the power that that would have to do that. And that brings us to here today. All these people gathered here, connecting online, joining for one common cause, to be a global citizen, to find ways to make a difference in the world. The actions may have been small. They may have written letters to their Congress members. They may have tweeted out comments. They may have hosted Facebook groups. And they may have done more than that too. But the collective power of all the people here and all the people who have been global citizens at all their festivals around the world has undoubtedly made an impact. And that's what we're here to celebrate. You know, the music is great, obviously. I mean, and today there are amazing acts. But I think what you're going to see is the overarching theme is greater than the music. It's the message. And that's a message of hope and optimism in a very difficult time for our country right now and for the world as well. No doubt that if we don't do something about climate change soon, the planet's going to get a lot hotter and a lot more dangerous place to live in, not just for us, but for all other species as well. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and a lot of in between. But today, we're here to be positive and to be hopeful. And how can you not be when you're surrounded by all these global citizens? Why are you in New York City today?
For the Global Citizens Festival.
And what did you do? What did you do to get here?
I had to make an account and then sign a bunch of petitions and send emails and make calls to representatives in the government.
Same thing?
Yeah.
So what were the issues that you wrote about, that you called about?
Poverty and a lot of sanitation issues and with water.
Is there any of those three that are most important to you?
Probably water, because everyone needs water, and the fact that people don't have that is really concerning.
It's really impressive that both of you understand that there is a clean water crisis, and secondly, that there's something that can be done about it. So do you think among your peers, is there a greater awareness that it's out there, or not really?
It depends. I feel like some people it is, and some people have no idea.
I think it's getting better slowly, more people are learning, but it's still just a little bit.
Is there anyone that you go to school with that thinks climate change is fake?
Yes.
A lot of people, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What do they say?
They say that it's not real and that it's fake news,
Yeah.
that it's made up. Yeah,
it's
it is.
scary.
Wow. I mean, because we're going to see it in your lifetime, your children's lifetime. I mean, the way the world's going to change unless something's done. You kind of hope it's more like just the older people that don't believe in it, but to hear that people who are in high school think that climate change is fake is pretty scary.
Yeah.
And is there any talking to them about it, or?
I've tried talking to them. I've tried sending articles or YouTube videos for higher sources, and it's really hard to get them to believe.
Why are you here today?
We are part of a Global Citizens class in our school, and we basically scheduled this trip by winning some of the competitions for tickets, so we came here.
Wait, so tell me about this Global Citizens class or group.
So we basically just talk about world issues and then address them and then talk about them as in what we can do to help them or what we can do in school to help them. And
right. What issues are most important to you guys?
Climate change is a very important one that we talk about a lot. And yeah, that's our main one.
Main one?
Yeah.
Does everyone in your grade believe in climate change?
Not everyone.
We go to a school that's very split.
So in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, Tidden Falls, everyone's pretty much split. So there's a lot of controversy on those issues when you talk about it.
What's the split, roughly? Is it 50-50 or 70-30?
I would say 70-30, roughly.
Yeah.
70 believe in climate change. Right, so there's that 30%, which probably mimics the president's support base, roughly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the 30 that don't believe are very strong about it. So it's
What do they say, it's a hoax?
Either a hoax or not man-made.
Or not man-made.
Or they believe in it, but they say there's nothing we could do to prevent it.
So just let it happen, let the world boil, and I'll go to planet B.
yeah,
Which
but
doesn't
there's
exist.
not gonna be.
Matt and I were backstage a little while ago. We were talking to Bill Nye, the science guy. And Bill said to me that societies and cities have no future if they don't believe in science. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, like David Brinkley once said, but you can't have your own facts. And the problem that we have right now is that too many people have their own facts. And if you don't believe in climate change, it's just like Bill said to me, the anti-vaxxing community, if you don't believe in science, we're doomed. And so we've got a lot of work to do on the education front, because we should be beyond that right now. We should only be talking about what we're going to do about climate change, not having conversations of, is this a hoax? Is this real? So that's kind of disturbing, and I did want to share that because I was surprised by that reaction. And we got that now from 3 different groups of young people that we interviewed, all who are in high school right now. So we got our work cut out for us, guys. How are you today?
Good.
You enjoying the concert?
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Because we want to make sure that everybody is participating in making the world a better place.
Is this your first time coming here?
No.
Oh, you're experienced. You're like veterans at this. How cool. How many have you been to?
I don't really know.
Like more than 2?
Yeah.
No way. Super impressive. And so, what do you think will happen as a result of this festival today? What do you hope will happen?
That more people will recycle and compost to like save it from going to the trash when it could be reused.
So one thing that I noticed this year, which is different, if you look around, there are no more like one-time use plastic bottles. So last year, there were a lot of plastic bottles all over the place that people would use and then discard. So they're already warming up the conversation here for what's going to happen next year, which is September 26, 2020. Instead of just doing one Global Citizen Festival, there's going to be multiple all over the world. There'll be a festival here in New York City, but there'll also be several in Africa, Asia, and Europe at the same time. So what Global Citizen's going to do is a 10-hour broadcast event to bring everyone together. And the reason next year is so important is in 2020, we're 10 years down to the global goals deadline. So by January 1st, 2030, the UN has set the global goals objective date, and there's a lot of work left to be done. So if you think what's behind me here is cool this year, just wait till next year, because it'll be quite something as it becomes truly a global event. So what brings you here? Like obviously the music, but like talk about like the message of the festival and like what that means to you.
I think it's cool how we can kind of do community service through online, like signing petitions and like kind of doing all of that, and then like just coming here to see 60,000 people all doing the same thing and coming to one place for one thing is like really cool.
In your class of students, like, would you say everyone understands the climate crisis, or are there still those that don't believe in it?
There's definitely still people that don't believe in it. Like you'll have them everywhere. I have one really good friend who's at
like
the
that
wall.
one friend, like you just are like a weed. You can't do anything with.
Yeah. It's like I have one friend who's like so like insanely incredible like about all of it. Like she was at the walk last week. But then it's like some people who will just be like, I really don't care. I don't.
Is it that they don't? But like, there's a difference, right? Like, is it apathy or do they not believe in it? Because those are 2 different things.
I feel like they just don't know about it enough to care about it. Yeah.
Right. So you think if they were educated into the actual facts, that it would be a different story?
Definitely.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Enjoy the show. Talk to me about the social message here. Like, what like moves you? What motivates you on that?
Well, the part with the menstrual products in Africa and like which girls aren't getting them like proper products. Yeah.
A hugely important issue that no one talks about that needs to be addressed because it hurts them in school and in the workforce later. It's really important.
I guess the thing that spoke to me most was the environmental part of it. Like in school, they would teach us about like the environmental issues, but they wouldn't really push it much. It was more about what's wrong instead of what we should do. So I feel like that's what we're trying to send a message about, what the solution is.
And do people in your school understand the dire urgency of climate change now, or is that still like an open debate?
I feel like it's still a more open debate. Like people think, oh yeah, is climate change actually real? Is this really that much of a problem? And that's what people keep on asking each other.
On climate, are you encouraged on climate change or discouraged on climate change right now?
I think we need a lot of help from the top, if you know what I mean.
Well, no, I mean, listen, we have
the top here.
well, we have the president says that global warming is a hoax
That's what
perpetrated
I'm
by
talking
the
about.
Chinese.
That's what I'm talking
So
about.
obviously, when you don't have American leadership on this issue or any issue, there are consequences for that. So we pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Yes.
Planet's getting hotter.
Yes.
Sea levels are rising. Storms are getting bigger.
I agree with all of that.
So there's a lot to be highly concerned about at this particular moment. At the same time, when you come to an event like this, you can't help but feel maybe there's something we can do, right?
Well, you know what? With the exception of me and a few others, this is a whole different generation. And maybe it's my generation that's to fault, but it's the younger ones that are going to change it.
It's our kids that are taking action because
That's
past
what I mean.
generations
You're
haven't,
exactly right.
I mean,
my generation maybe doesn't understand it well enough. I think the younger generations will. I think my grandkids, I hope will.
So on Future City Podcast, the issues that were talked about here tonight at the Global Citizen Festival were very much part of our conversation. So while the concert's still going full steam behind me here, when tomorrow comes, the conversations still have to continue. So I hope you'll join us on Future City Podcasts, which you can download on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. Check us out there, and let's keep talking about these important issues.